Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Doing great. How about yourself, Ozzy?
I'm doing fantastic. Todd, how about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. I'm excited to talk about this movie. It's our first time talking anything Troma. This is Troma's 50th anniversary. So
awesome.
I figured this was the one way to sneak a Troma film onto this program.
And very well timed and good strategy there, Todd. As Todd is mentioning that today we are having the pleasure of reviewing and discussing Cannibal the Musical, which was released in 1993. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, sir.
Long intro for a trailer.
Cold
Are you
winter
sure you're
of
showing-
1874, 6 men set out on a journey through the Colorado Rockies. They were looking for gold, but what they found was that they were completely lost.
See the way Troma marketed it.
I want to think about it now. I'm Alfred Packer. This is my horse, Leanne. In the tradition of Friday the 13th, Part 2, and Oklahoma, comes the first intelligent film about cannibalism.
Gross, Packer. We can name him Shannon Wilson Bell. We can make him tall or we can make him not so.
I'm shatterproof. There's nothing you can show.
Oh, the 90s.
I'm shatterproof.
So I immediately went and picked it up after seeing that, obviously.
Again, the trailer for Cannibal the Musical, released on August 30th, 1996, rated R with a runtime of 95 minutes, written by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, directed by Trey Parker, also starring Trey Parker, Dion Bakur, and Stephen Blackpool, among others. Matt Stone also serving a role. Initial thoughts on this: I had always heard this, and it does have the indie feel to it, and as Todd mentioned, a Troma release, and that was never something that really caught my eye, for lack of a better term.
A little too subversive for Ozzy's mainstream eyes.
Fair point. At
Which
the time, at least, especially in 1996, but moving forward, actually, without this show, I probably wouldn't have seen this on my own, so it's probably
which is a shame. I mean, it's it is a crime. This has never once aired on Comedy Central, like ever.
That is very interesting.
They just, people don't like Troma. They've never got paid for it. I mean, it's not like they wouldn't give it to him. Lloyd's often bitched about never getting. Lloyd Kaufman, president of Troma Entertainment and co-creator of The Toxic Avenger. I have to say his full title or he gets mad. So
no, apologies. So, well, Todd, you just went over your initial thoughts there. If you had anything else to add.
Oh, my initial, I don't know. For initial thoughts, I got tons of shit on this one. I know a lot about this and everything that went into it. So I'll have various notes throughout, but my initial thoughts is, saw the trailer on a Troma tape 30 years ago, knew it was something I wanted to see, and saw it. And I do believe at the time I saw it, it was after South Park was already a thing, because there was a point in time when they were offered what became South Park. It was still the Spirit of Christmas at that time. And Lloyd kind of like passed on it, but so that never happened. Then Comedy Central, but they've always been good to Troma. They've always came back. It's always been they've always been cool.
I think that might explain why this film has never been on Comedy Central, because it keeps up the illusion, for lack of a better term, that Matt Stone and Trey Parker started on Comedy Central, which I think a lot of people in the mainstream,
maybe that's the conspiracy they wanted people to think.
or at least they don't want to acknowledge anything that happened before them.
Well, it's funny because like everyone passed on this. Like literally, Troma was their last stop, and they didn't get paid anything. I think Lloyd took them out to Del Taco and literally told them, like, you'll have a movie you can take to any studio. This is a physical product I have out. You can get in the store right now. They did, and it worked out well.
And you can't get combos.
I'm not going to say you're probably right, but I'm pretty sure they were ordering off the dollar menu. But that has never been confirmed. Good deal,
free
though.
tacos. This is awesome. So, Greg, got anything?
Yeah. So this is one of those movies that I know that I had seen, but it was during a time in my life where I might not remember a lot of things. And so I rewatched the trailer and I was like, man, this is vaguely familiar. But I only watched like the intro of it. And I was like, when was this made? Like, how long ago? Because the film quality and everything. And it's like, oh, whatever, I'll give it a shot. And then going back into it, once I really started playing it, I was like, oh, okay. Yes, I remember this now. It's all coming back to me. And so I was like really excited to go on this ride and rediscover a movie that, I remember. It's one of those things like you knew you enjoyed it, but you don't remember why. And so, it was, I was really excited once I realized all of what it was. And throughout the entire movie, I was like, musicals, but South Park. What will Ozzy think?
I made sure I warned him in our group chat that he knew it was a musical.
Yeah, and it kind of has a, dare I say it, a probably better quality Lost Skeleton vibe in some of its like.
We're gonna say that.
I'm gonna say this so you don't ruin it. I think there's because I don't know where Ozzy lands, but like I think even from the like a fan of South Park, you get to see a lot of the early, like you can hear Cartman's voice.
Oh yeah.
You can see like the songs, you can hear the songs sound almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like, you get to see like from the beginning, like this is, about to break out big. And yeah, I'm just curious where Ozzy lands because musicals, but you know what? All their other movies are musicals and you like their other film other than Orgasmo, which they still think was a mistake of their own films. That it should have been a musical.
So when it comes to, and funny enough, when the first song broke out, my girlfriend was in the kitchen. She's like, I thought you guys weren't supposed to do musicals. And I said, no, this is different. Like it's good because it's from the creators of South Park and it's a comedy. See, I've always been my approval of comedy musicals are very high. If there was ever like a film version of Avenue Q, I'd probably be in support of it. The musical version of The Producers I thought was great.
Mm-hmm.
I get ready, get your Wicked tickets yet.
when a musical's like serious, that's when I'm like,
the worst part about that Wicked musical? It's 2 parts, but they're not calling this one part 1. So can you imagine you go and see that and you don't know that you get half of the damn musical? You're like, I gotta see another musical to get this damn story finished.
It's gonna be like the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so it's already on my I ain't going to see that now.
Oh wow. So is it gonna be called like More Wicked?
I don't know. They'll
part?
probably call the second one too. They already got your money at that point. They don't care. Because they learned Mission Impossible 1. Remember the Mission Impossible Ghost, whatever, part 1? People
Ghost
didn't go see it.
Oh no, Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning part 1, yeah.
And
like,
then
we'll wait for the next one.
Part 1. That's right. Which, by the way, it feels like they completely just
Forgot about
dropped
part two.
off. Well, no, I mean, like, what's going on? I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
I
I've
know.
always been curious.
Sorry.
I get the vibe that um
Tom
we're
Cruise has a
getting
lot to deal with. Yeah, we're off topic.
off topic, getting back into Cannibal the musical. Apologize. So going into some of the favorite moments. I mean, you did. You mentioned you saw a lot of early parts. Now, as I mentioned, I'm always a fan of comedic musicals, so uh, I had no problem with this whatsoever. And what's also interesting is that I have the subtitles on, and where you mentioned that you hear Cartman's voice singing one of the songs,
Mhm.
the subtitle reads it as Cartman's voice, and then it shows.
Interesting.
So that's funny to see, but uh, it has a very similar style of humor, and especially the opening with the court scene and just, "Well, that's not how it happened." Just the typical how one perspective is here and then it just shows you a completely different one that matches everything that it provides, like an alternate take or whatever, but
Mhm.
it was very much in that style, so I was a big fan of that. Uh, so that that quelled that in terms of a musical. And Greg, I knew you were gonna say Lost Skeleton vibe because, to be honest, I had the same feeling. But there's one very distinct quality uh, above, or that places this film above that, and that's talent. So
You want me to tell you the
Hmm.
difference, Ozzy?
what's that?
One is a movie trying to be a B movie to be funny. This is an actual B movie trying to being fun. Like that's what it's.
It's
It's
just
not.
being a B movie,
Yeah,
and it's just naturally funny. They're
yeah.
not they're not trying to be funny. It just happens.
They're using the
Like,
budget they have. That
I
it's
can't.
not. They're
I,
not going for a look. It's not a stylistic choice.
I
It's this
can't
is the money
say
we have, and this is what we're doing. So,
just in terms of the humor. I mean, uh, this isn't down as one of my favorite moments, but I hope it isn't for yours. But just like there's little bits in the dialogue that's a reward for people paying attention. Like when they talk about the different kinds of horse, like the trapper horse. A horse is a horse, of course, and it
Yeah.
just keeps moving on, gives you no time to think about it. So those that are on board and with the film are just there, and that's
Mhm.
like one of those moments that
there's
would
a
place
lot
it
of that.
above like a Lost Skeleton for me, because Lost Skeleton was so, like, the pacing of everybody was just, it put me to sleep multiple times. But this had, like, and then there's always a certain particular type of charm that they're able to put with their protagonists that
Mm,
always
mhm.
keep you on board and want to see what happens next.
It does. It doesn't hurt. You got Squeak and Buck
Right.
and everyone you know already from the other movies too.
Right.
So you already kind of like these characters from stuff like basketball and other stuff they've done.
Yeah, but I think across all the movies they know how to gain sympathy
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
their heroes, and so it's never a moment where I'm looking at the clock thinking, how much longer is there? It always goes by so quickly. Now would be the time I think we get into the favorite moments. And actually, Todd, since you have so much information and so much about this film, I'll let you go first with potentially taking one of ours.
Oh, geez, I have so many. I was going last. Just see, because there's little things like the end screen, which is pretty funny, which is just a joke, like at the very end. One of the things that made me laugh the most this time is a line I didn't catch really before. When oh, what is our the interviewer's name? I forget her name.
Polly Pry.
Polly, when she's going on about how crappy the cell is and like, oh, this, and he's just like, this is the best place I've ever lived. I mean, just little, like, that's another just little thing. You just got to be paying attention and you catch it, move along, and it's just funny. I mean, that's so I'm gonna throw that one out there first. So what jumped out at you?
Greg.
So mine was that end credit title that's there.
Yeah.
That got me, like, what a perfect place to say that children shouldn't watch this film, but at the end of it. But since that was mentioned, there was a scene where they talked about seeing some sheep, and Squeak started undoing his pants, and they're like, no, not like that. He's like, I just got to use the restroom.
And I love it that we're still calling him Squeak because that's what I have down in my note.
Yeah, he'll always be that. Or, little,
Yeah. Little Ozzy.
So
Okay.
so the that's all we're asking for, reprise where the lyrics are altered and they sing about they don't care if they're poor anymore, like they're just completely done and with everything. Made me bust up the most out of everything, just because I appreciate the
I got one more.
lyrics. I guess whenever like you can incorporate like that kind of humor into lyrics, it kind of completes the package of being, like, I guess it's like a 2 for 1,
Mhm.
like the combos that Matt Stone and Trey Parker didn't get at the Del Taco. We're getting a combination of jokes in song and like Spinal Tap, or it adds an extra element of fun to it, an extra level of fun to it. So going into the ratings,
Real quick, there's one I wanted to throw out there that I did really like. And it's another one, but this one is one you catch more when they're, well, shocker, it's Cannibal, when they're cutting up the first body, and Matt Stone's like, wait, you're cutting into his butt? And the other guy, well, what piece do you want? Well, not butt. That just with the will not butt had me dying. That one, yeah. I'm flopping. That's my favorite. Oh, and then just the Indian tribe. I mean, that was just
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Solid.
When he the take care of the horse bit at the end. You just hear it. Yeah, I'm trying to give that one away, but that one had me going.
So before we move on to the ratings, do you actually have any notes that you'd like to share on this?
It was originally titled Alfred Packer the Musical, and when they kind of like, well, that's figured out it's a regional thing, so it wouldn't play elsewhere, so they ended up Cannibal the Musical, so it's kind of understandable for everyone. Lloyd Kaufman pops up in Orgasmo, which I'm assuming we'll eventually cover. But yeah, I don't know if here's something I will bring up. There is a new remaster that will be coming out next month, and I believe December too. There's two. There's actually dueling releases. One coming out of the UK, which is looking to be the superior release called.
You mean they're going to fight each other?
Well, I mean, they're both coming out at the same time. Yes, they're going to duel. I get it. But yeah, frame by frame restoration, all rebuilt. So, and there's that one's coming out of the UK, the Trome Archive collection. It's like stacked. And then we have one coming out in the US from Vinegar Syndrome, and that one will be stacked also. I'm sure different extras. So obviously I'm getting both to go with my other 3 copies of Cannibal the Musical. So I'm excited. Trome is the only company I buy everything, and if there's multiples, I keep them all. I don't upgrade and get rid of the old ones.
I see.
Because I love Trome.
Would you care to kick us off for the rating?
Well, I'm kind of prepping you. I'm a 5, obviously. I love Cannibal the Musical.
Yeah.
There I am. 5.
Greg?
Oh, 5 as well. This movie's a lot of fun.
It's actually going to be a 5 from me as well. And I'll tell you, it's the comedy musical aspect with everybody playing their roles to not a silly extent, but an actual serious extent. They're, like you said, it's being they're letting the humor come naturally instead of forcing it, which is always appreciated.
Well, you'll be glad to hear the next year I got another Troma musical ready for you. Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, Halloween 2025.
Okay, that seems a little extreme. Who's
that would be
go ahead.
That would be Lloyd Kaufman himself, president of Troma Entertainment and co-creator of the Toxic Avenger, who best Troma movies ever. I don't know. Okay. But Ozzy will love it next year.
Well, stay tuned next year. You could also stay tuned next week for a new episode. But before we head out for the episode, oh, it's by the way, we mentioned 5, all of us from here. You can actually catch this as of September 29th. It is available via Peacock. So you're more than welcome to check it out there. Highly recommend.
It's available on Peacock, Tubi, Roku, Plex, and Troma Now. Check it out.
Check it out. So you guys have anything else before we head off the evening?
Yeah.
Check out Tournament of the Living Dead. We're right in the middle of it on Flesh Wound Horror. So check it out. We got horror every day this month. So
Wow. Well, it is October.
yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, just a brief adjustment on a trivia schedule. If you're in the Orange County area, every Tuesday I'll be hosting trivia at the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest beginning at 6:30, and every Wednesday at the Brewery in Placentia beginning at 7 o'clock. Always free to play in prizes for the top winning teams. And I actually have been able to manipulate things so I have questions up on a giant screen. So you don't even need to worry about like, why is he speaking in Spanish? I can't understand him. I don't actually speak Spanish. I think people just drink to the point they don't understand me. They just assume I'm
You're
speaking
just
Spanish.
tired of repeating it, aren't you? Like it's on the board.
That's why I initially, okay, here's the funny thing about this whole PowerPoint is that I kept getting asked to repeat the question, and they would listen to me, and I would say this paragraph question, and I would say, of the 1930s. And then they would say, oh, the 1930s. He said 1930s. I'm like, you made me read the whole question. You couldn't just say, what was the decade you said? You made me read the whole question. So I got tired of saying that because I was doing this 4 nights a week, right? So I would get the questions and I would do the PowerPoint at my work before the pandemic, right? And I would put that on a PowerPoint and I'd put it on a tablet so that way people could read it. And everybody was happy, right? And then my manager over at Sunset Trivia had started doing that, providing that, which is fantastic. However, the Honey Pot Meadery, where I was doing it, they was like, oh, so you can just put it up on the screen? Like, you don't need to read it? I'm like, well, hold on a second. The songs. And I mean, I'm here. Like, well, we're going to host it in-house and see how that goes. So it was kind of like a whole circle. Like, that's like a Curb song, or like almost like a Married with Children. Like you start being like start showing the innovation, but then again, like that innovation replaces you.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a humorous aspect. But what isn't going to be humorous is this Saturday at Crestline, California, October 12th, 3PWA will help promote Brawl and Brews, where there's going to be the likes of Tony Reyes, the American Punk, Rilla Wolf. I'm going to be there announcing, so come out, say hi. It actually is a free event. We got some food vendors going to be out there. So coming out, that's in Crestline, California. Check out the 3PWA Instagram or Facebook page for more information. And I think that covers everything I have. Do you guys have anything else before we head out for the evening?
No, I think I'm all right. Unless you're looking to rent an apartment in Daly City, California. But yeah.
If you're looking to rent an apartment in Daly City, California, contact world famous juggler Greg Larson. All right, now for world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.